saw Deebo and Trey doing some after practice stuff yesterday. I mean, where are they in terms of their chemistry, and are you confident that that can be sort of bridged before the season begins?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of that stuff's overrated personally. I think it's just about getting Deebo back in practice consistently with the reps. We've eased him in since him having a late start. He's just starting to get up to normal practice. I think it'll be here in the next couple of days, but it'll come. And I didn't know they worked after. I like that they do that.
McGlinchey's been worked back in a little bit now. What have you seen from him? How far along is he?
I mean, you can't see anything wrong with him out there. He talks about being pain-free and stuff, so it's been great. So I picture him kind of in the same boat as Kinlaw, same boat as Greenlaw, Aziz, guys who have some big off-season stuff who are doing great, but we got to monitor their reps and stuff so they don't have that wear and tear as we ease them back in.
Are you happy with how the offense responded yesterday? I think that there was intentional penalties given there to move them back to their 5. Was that intentional, and were you happy with that?
Get back on track, period. So you have a play, but then ends up being 1st and 20. So just situational football, and it's fun to call holding penalties on people who don't hold, to watch them get very sensitive about it, but that's kind of part of it.
Was it Trent that you called?
I called it on Kittle. I called one on Nate Sudfeld. And I think I called one with Glynchy. It's just all the people I think it'll bother.
What's Jason Verrett's timeline? I guess he's running pretty well on the field. Does that move up his possibility to get into camp?
To get him into camp, we'd love to get him ready for week 1. I think that's his mindset. And so I'll never go against him on that. But I'm definitely ready if he's not ready for week 1 to get him to whenever he's ready. If he comes back week 1, week 4, week 8, at the end of the year, that guy everyone knows how talented and good of a player he is, but he's one of the best leaders on our team too. So, I thought our first year we had him here, it was similar. And I thought we brought him back a hair too early because he was healthy, but he just didn't have his legs back quite yet. And he got thrown in that game versus, I think, Pittsburgh in week 3, got beat on a go route. And that's when we saw he wasn't quite there yet. And then it's hard to start back. So we definitely don't want to do anything too soon and give him the time to get back to being Jason.
We talked a lot about Brandon Aiyuk's demeanor yesterday, but, I mean, on the field, he's just been pretty dominant. Have you seen any different part of his game? I mean, coming from a receiver, what have you seen from him from last year to this year? It's just
he's developing in all the stuff he needed to do to get better. I mean, he comes off the ball every play. He runs full speed every play. He's not slow playing stuff anymore. He's not sitting there and fighting with guys with his hands. He's doing it with his feet, with his hips, creating edges by running, breaking down. If you want to get open in the league, you got to be so violent on how you run and putting your knees into the ground and everything, and that's hard on guys a lot. They do that like 3 days in a row, and sometimes they got to take a week off. That's why it's so crucial how these guys prepare, and it's hard when we're not around them. But BA, he did it all when he was away from us. He did it all throughout OTAs, and his body can handle everything he's doing, and that's why he's getting better right now.
Well, along those lines, how's Danny Gray done as far as playing with that needed violence at that position?
Yeah, he's coming along. I mean, he's got his rookie stuff, just like all of them pretty much do usually. But I've liked how he's responded. It's pretty much guaranteed that a rookie, especially a rookie receiver, is going to do something to bother me in every practice. And that's how you coach guys to get them better. And I've really been impressed with him that every time we get on him for something and the next day he responds. He doesn't feel sorry for himself. He doesn't think we're picking on him. He hears us, he listens, and he goes out and usually fixes it the next day.
If you can't name someone on your roster, who is the most decisive runner you've ever coached, and who's the best route runner?
Decisive running back. Arian Foster was pretty decisive. He got downhill right away, never messed around. Elijah's pretty decisive. What's that? You said it not on our current? Your questions are so slow and long. I don't always hear them all. Route runners, when you put him, Julio was the best because he's the only guy who was that explosive and that fast who could break down that violently, and that's why he was such a problem. Andre Johnson was the closest to that I had. When it just comes to route running, people you guys don't know, like David Anderson was unbelievable. Just guys who you don't think can make it, but they have a way of separating, and he was one of the better ones. Owen Daniels was a great one. Jordan Reed.
How do you evaluate that, like when guys are coming out of college? Because Jawan was somebody who, like athletically was maybe questionable, but just had the knack for separating. Like, is that just tape? How do you sort of?
Got to watch how they separate versus people and how they move. And Jawan is a little unusual in his movement, so it doesn't jump off to everyone. But if you watch him, he creates an edge on people every single play. And when he doesn't, he never stops running. So he's violent and big enough that he fights through everything. And then when he has the hands, even when he's covered, he's stepping back to the ball, which was similar to KB in that way. But Jawan is a little unorthodox in his movement, but I feel if you talk to the corners out there and stuff, he's been the toughest one to cover. I think BA's.
Yesterday was a really good day for the passing game. Is week 2, second block of practices, kind of when the offense usually starts hitting its stride in camp?
It's back and forth. The only reason I know that everyone felt it was a good day because Corey told me that before he came in. So I didn't totally feel that way. Maybe it's because we had less passes. We had a short yardage period, so there less things could go wrong. So in the pass game, but I didn't totally feel it that way. I don't get too caught up in winning the day. I get totally caught up in the process. Even when some stuff looks terrible, sometimes, out there I'm really upset. But then when you watch the film, you get to talk to guys. It's kind of the best thing that could happen because that stuff's going to happen eventually, and you got to put guys through situations. And when everything goes right, that's kind of a fake deal because it's not going to go right. And so you just try to put them through everything that you can.
Bryant Young's going in the Hall of Fame today. There's signage up around the stadium celebrating that. Are you guys doing anything as a team today to commemorate it? Will you watch his speech, and has he addressed the guys at all this camp?
I would love to watch the speech tonight. I don't know what time it's at. Usually it's during our walkthroughs, so I got to see. We missed a lot of Johns last year with that, so we'll replay it for people. But I love BY. I was a ball boy when he got drafted. And you talk about a rookie who comes in who doesn't act like a rookie. That guy was a man from day one. And for me to even know that as a 7th grader, it shows how unusual it was and how much he stuck out. And I think that was their Super Bowl year. And then just how long of a career he had. I got to see him in Atlanta. He'd come out and he was tight with Q, so he got to work with us a little bit. And he was a guy I tried to bring here a few years ago. Just the situation wasn't right at the time. But BY is so deserving as a player and one of the most impressive people too.
That 94 team was famously competitive in training camp. How much of that do you remember being a ball boy?
I remember a lot of it. Yep, that's most of the stuff I remember is football stuff. But that was such a fun year. They brought in William Floyd, bar none, competing with Rathman. They had all the receivers. You had. Then Dion wasn't there in camp, but I think he came week 3. You had Kid Norton Jr., who just got there for the first year, which changed everything. You had older veterans like Gary Plummer coming in, who were awesome. Richard Dent gave one of the rookie receivers his golf club for some fishing derby putting thing, and he's dropped the golf club and it went in a lake. And he offered someone $200 that they'd go find it the next day. So the next day I went over there with goggles and shoes and went swimming in that nasty lake and got that golf club and got $200. It was awesome. But that was so cool. Ricky Jackson, everybody, Eric Davis. That was as cool of a thing to be around as I can remember.
Are there guys on your roster like that now that came in as rookies and didn't feel like rookies?
Bosa. Yeah. Bosa's been a professional since 3 years old.
Snyder had his best career season before he left to Seattle. Now he's back. What can you say about him and what Chris Kaczmarek is able to do to get so much out of his guys?
I think the style that Chris allows him to play with really gives him some freedom. And Kerry's one of the smarter D linemen I've been around. So when you have a style that allows him to make plays and you're smart enough to figure out how to do it, it gives you a huge advantage. And I compare Kerry a lot to what Ronnie Blair was for us a few years ago, just a guy who can kind of do everything. The first day he might not jump out to people, But by the 10th day, you realize he's there every single day. And during our COVID year, that rough year, I mean, he was one of the true leaders of our team, and he was a guy we didn't want to lose. It was tough when we did, and feel very fortunate to have him back.
Take three more.
Elijah Mitchell was a bit of a revelation last year. What have you seen from him this year to build on?
I've been excited the last couple practices because he had his offseason, he took him a while to recover from the stuff that he had to get done. So he didn't get much done in OTAs, and the month away, I could say, coming back, he had really bulked up and stuff and put some good size on. And now it's about just getting him in there and getting used to the wear and tear again so we can improve in the pass game, improving some of the runs, improving some of the bigger runs, stuff that he knows and he's so capable of getting better. It's just been getting him healthy enough to allow him to develop that stuff.
How much is having Trey Lance, changed your playbook?
Not really at all. I mean, you do the same stuff and you just got a couple more elements. When you have a threat of a running quarterback, that's can change defenses, and when you see how it changes them, then you adjust to that. But we had stuff in last year. We've worked on stuff, and even when you do stuff that seems different to everyone else, it's the exact same play to the O-line. It's the exact same play to the running back. It's the exact same play to the receivers. But if they don't count for him, then he gets to run. So it doesn't really change as much as it seems.
Some people have been skeptical of making Nate Sudfeld your backup quarterback just because he doesn't have the resume of actually playing. Has he given, if you lack any confidence in him, has his training camp given you more confidence that he can do it?
Yeah, we've been here with Nate for a year, so that's given us confidence to build the roster that we have with him. He's giving me confidence now because I feel I'm getting better each day. I thought yesterday was the best practice of camp, and hopefully that continues.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.